And hello there! Let's keep your week rolling just right with the right mix of news and conversations. Now, whether you're catching us online, on TV, or even on the radio, hop on and join the chat. I'm Paolo de Rosario.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Asis-Carilo. We are simulcast on Mellow 94.7 BFM. Here's your daily dose of deep dives and good vibes. Welcome to
Beautiful Day! All right, Anne, I need your help today.
Yes.
I had a terrible morning.
A terrible
I
morning?
had a
Why?
terrible morning.
Because
Kasi
Alex Ayala lost?
isang dahilan yun. I'm a sports fan. Natalo rin yung Manchester United ko. Both of them played like magkasunod. I did not stay up for it, but I woke up. I woke up with like the worst feeling. Alam mo yung talo yung dalawa. And both of them were upset losses pa. Kaya kailangan ko ng good morning. Kaya mabuti na lang nandito tayo ngayon sa Beautiful Day because I'm sure that the mga viewers natin are on Facebook and YouTube are ready to give comments today.
That's right. And, it's always a ray of sunshine joining the show. So I'm sure later you're going to feel much, much better.
We'll see.
I think now you're already starting to feel much, much better. But yes, we are on Facebook and on YouTube live. Send Paolo your messages. Cheer him up, guys.
Commiserations.
Yes. He's feeling a little down today because of those sports losses. So send us your messages plus questions for our guests later on. We've got a jam-packed show for you guys. We are also simulcast on Facebook or on Mellow 94.7 BFM and also on the Facebook page of Mellow 94.7 BFM. So many ways to get in touch with us. At the Hangout later on.
We have two Hangouts later.
Two Hangouts, yes. So first we got someone from the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines. They will be joining us later on. The president, I believe, Ms. Jel. And she will be talking about, that crackdown on the online gambling platform promotion using content creators and influencers.
Yes, that's important kasi syempre, iba when you say like, nag-advertise ka, like on TV or on billboards, pero kapag influencer mismo, yun yung sumusulong sa online gambling. And when you have people who are impacted in a different way kasi it feels like more of direct communication kapag influencer nag-uusap.
More like a personal it's like a personal connection between the influencer and the people that they influence.
I agree.
Diba?
And of course, our second guest will also be talking about something positive, Ren. We're going to be talking about a Book Nook, which is going to foster community reading or reading in community. So I can't wait to hear more about that. In general, I think people don't read enough. I feel like people have been reduced to being headline readers or social media readers na minsan it's just whatever we call tweets nowadays or whatever we call headlines on Facebook or wherever else. Minsan TikTok, you're there watching the first 5 seconds and just reading the subtitles. So I mean, like, syempre, it feels like reading is a skill.
Yeah, people are just really like scrolling on their phones most of the time. So some have forgotten, the beauty of really holding a book and reading through it from cover to cover.
Or kahit
of course.
Kindle na lang. I mean, like either, right? A reader, an e-reader, pwede rin.
Oo.
Diba?
I want to ask that nga. Does that count also? Pati yung mga audiobooks.
Audiobooks, no. I would say no. Pero
no?
E-books, yes.
Talaga? Audiobooks?
What are you using sa audiobooks? Your eyes or your ears?
Yeah, your ears. But it's also
Can
like
you
reading,
hear a book?
diba? But it's also like reading and then still getting information and listening. I don't know. Let's ask our guest later on. Like printed material versus digital books versus audiobooks.
Okay, but of course,
Diba?
I have a stance on that. But let's see what happens later on. But we also have love hacks later, where we're going to be talking about a
this
term
is so interesting.
that have you heard of shrekking? Okay, shrekking, as in like base sa ogre.
Shrek,
Okay?
yes.
You have to correct my definition if I'm wrong, Anne. Pero it is when you date someone you know is a level below you in terms of appearance.
Parang you're dating down.
You're dating
You're
down.
dating down.
Para hindi ka ma-disappoint.
Yes, to avoid getting hurt.
Yes.
Kumbaga, parang sa kanta ni Andrew E., humanap ka ng pangit at ibigin mong tunay.
Oo, pero yung problema doon sa shrekking, kasi there's two parts of that, if I'm not mistaken, ha? You go and date someone a level below you, but they still don't treat you right. Parang ganun.
May ganon.
Oo, parang may ganun factor rin
Okay.
eh. Oo, so
hindi totoo yung kanta ni Andrew E. Pag humanap ka ng pangit, your heart will never get broken.
Well, you know what? That depends.
But you know what?
Kasi,
parang that depends nga.
That
Meron pala
depends.
akong mga kilala na, wait a minute. Mamaya yan for love hacks. If you have questions about shrekking, if you guys want to know what that new term is, then that's happening later towards the end of the show.
Oh
Ang
my
dami ng
gosh.
terms, no? Shrekking, ghosting,
So
situationship.
So, anong tawag sa donkey at dragon? Kasi, of course, shrekking involves si Shrek at si Fiona, di ba? Fiona dating an ogre or getting married to an ogre.
Yeah.
Diba?
And si Donkey and Dragon,
Donkey
two
and Dragon.
totally different species. Huwag na lang natin yung pag-usapan.
Interracial? Intercultural?
Interracial pwede.
Intercultural, yeah.
Intercultural, oo.
Like dating a foreign. Pero hindi. Sino yung foreigner sa donkey at sa dragon?
Or dating AI.
Hindi naman AI si dragon.
Hindi, I mean kasi those are two totally different things, 'di ba? Contrasting talaga human and technology. And ang dami na ngayon nai-in love sa AI. We can actually talk about that, 'di ba? Parang doon na nagfo-fall under donkey and dragon 'yun. Kasi magkaiba sila ng species, 'di ba? Hindi pa rin.
Let's check on the major roads at this hour
It's a
because
good argument,
traffic,
though.
I'm sure. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, guys, let's just check the situation in major roads at this hour. Here's a look at EDSA Orense in Makati. Calm down, Paolo. On the left side of your screens, you're seeing vehicles heading to Pasay City. Light traffic on that area. Opposite lane, same situation. Everything green and go. On the right side, you're seeing vehicles heading to Shaw Boulevard. Now, this time, let's take a look at what's happening along EDSA Quezon Avenue flyover. Ooh, already looking very busy. On the left side, you're seeing vehicles heading to Quiapo. We got moderate to heavy traffic already building up on that stretch. Opposite lane, right side, those are the vehicles heading to Quezon Memorial Circle. We're seeing light to moderate traffic there. Now, heads up to motorists. The expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Thursday, guys, so vehicles with license plates ending in 7 and 8 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And what will the weather be like this Thursday? Let's find out from Paolo as he gives us today's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Paolo.
Thank you so much, Anne. Let's take a look at our local weather today, which is still being influenced by a low-pressure area. Now, this low-pressure area is still within the Philippine area of responsibility, and there's also the southwest monsoon that is affecting the local weather here today. Unahin muna natin ang LPA. Now, as of 3 a.m. today, the low-pressure area was last located around 435 kilometers west of Sangli Point in Cavite City. Now, Pag-asa says it has a high probability of developing into a tropical cyclone within the next 24 hours. However, once it strengthens into a tropical cyclone, it will be near the edge of the Philippine area of responsibility and is expected to exit shortly after. Now, even if it is expected to exit, the extension or the trough of this LPA will bring cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over in the Ilocos region, the Cordillera Administrative Region, Zambales, Bataan, Tarlac, Pampanga, Isabela, Quirino, and Nueva Vizcaya. Now, at the same time, this LPA will also strengthen the southwest monsoon or ang hanging habagat. Now, this will affect the western and southern Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Residents over in the Bicol region, Quezon, Mimaropa, Visayas, Zamboanga Peninsula, northern Mindanao, and Caraga should also expect cloudy skies with scattered rain, showers, and thunderstorms. Now, moderate to heavy rains may lead to flash floods or landslides. Now, for Metro Manila in particular and the rest of the country, you will see generally fair weather with partly cloudy to cloudy skies and isolated showers or thunderstorms. Now, Pag-asa has also issued a heavy rainfall advisory for today. The southwest monsoon will bring about 50 to 100 millimeters of rain or moderate to heavy rains over in Palawan, Occidental Mindoro, and Antique. Residents in these areas should prepare because rains may cause flash floods or landslides. Students, motorists, and workers in the areas that we mentioned, please plan your day accordingly. Leave early, stay safe, and keep your emergency kit ready. Now let's take a look at our sea conditions here, where there's good news for our boaters and fishermen. There are no gale warnings here in the country today. In western, southern Luzon, and Visayas, seas will be moderate to rough with waves of 3.1 meters though. So small boats in those areas should exercise extra caution. Now, extreme northern Luzon will see moderate to seas with waves up to 2.5 meters. Sailing is allowed, but remember, boaters should always be cautious due to the height of the waves. The rest of the country will experience light to moderate seas, calmer conditions for fishing, sailing, or even leisure boating. Now, even with the favorable conditions, watch out for sudden squalls, strong winds, or changes in waves. Stay alert, stay safe, and please plan ahead before heading out. That is it for Weather HQ at the moment. And back to you.
Thank you so much, Pao. Now on to our headlines this morning. Health Secretary Ted Herbosa is facing potential removal from his post, according to a source who claims the DOH chief is currently on preventive suspension. This comes amid multiple controversies, including a 1.29 billion peso unliquidated vaccine advance and the unauthorized release of 44.6 million pesos worth of psychiatric drugs. While Herbosa has denied the allegations and said he's ready to face any cases, there is speculation of a possible cabinet shakeup. However, the palace has denied Herbosa's suspension.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered a lifestyle check for all officials amid an investigation into ghost and anomalous flood control projects. Now, the administration acknowledges that some officials at the Department of Public Works and Highways may be involved in budget insertions, prompting a full audit. Malacanang stressed that any agency found to be abusing the process will be held accountable. Meanwhile, several government officials expressed their support for the move.
My problem always has been unexplained poverty, so that's a difficult thing to explain. But the rest of us, all of us in DNR, are willing to undergo this test.
Maganda yon. Dapat talaga yon. Maganda dapat siya.
Well, you know, we were actually talking about this a couple of days ago.
Yes.
The lifestyle checks could be important, especially when it comes to making sure na sang-ayon yung nakuha nila on paper to what they are actually living. Like a good example that was brought about was when nakita natin yung lifestyle ng mga Diskaya, considering their government contracts and of course some of the other things that, in other words, yung history nila.
Yeah.
So I think that this would help in identifying yung mga unusual
not just the Discayas, other politicians as well, who were seen wearing really expensive jewelry, watches worth millions and millions of pesos. So it's good to have this lifestyle check because ang hirap to live in excess tapos government official ka, you're seen by the public and diba? So you know what, it's nice that we were talking about this lifestyle check na dapat mangyari on government officials and then the random drug testing, and now we're seeing the lifestyle check happening. Malay mo kasunod na rin yung random drug testing. I like what the DENR secretary said na kasi diba the lifestyle check is to explain all the wealth.
Yes.
Diba? Pero sa kanya, unexplained poverty ang sinabi ni DENR secretary.
That's true. I mean,
I feel you, sir. I feel you.
Now, let's see, of course, what this will amount to. Again, we talked a lot about yung accountability, but then syempre yung the process of chasing some of these government officials and of course naming them and then having the due process happen. That's a whole new ball game altogether. Kasi grabe, hindi naman porket na we see something anomalous, ayun na, tapos na. There will be a long battle when it comes to all
But
of
it's
this.
it's nice to see now that there is transparency being practiced. Sabi nga nila, golden age of transparency.
Well, let's see
That's
what it
we're in.
results
Let's
to.
see. Yeah.
Oo.
Okay, moving on. The families of the missing sabongeros were surprised by the sudden removal of now former PNP Chief Nicolas Torre III, who played a big part in the search for their missing relatives. Ryan Bautista, brother to one of the missing sabongeros, says he is optimistic that the new chief will also give proper attention to the investigation. He also has a touching message for the former chief.
Maraming salamat po. Unang-una po sa pagtulong po sa amin pagdating sa case po namin sa missing sabongeros. And nandito pa rin po kami sa ano man yung mangyari ko, sa man kayo madestino, proud pa rin po kami sa inyo na nagagawa niyo po ng tama yung trabaho niyo. At good luck po kung saan man kayong destino ma-assign.
Meanwhile, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro confirms that Torre is being offered a new government position, though no other details were given.
Hindi pa po natin maisisiwalat ang detalye patungkol po dito. Pero confirm po na may inaalok pong posisyon.
Well, that's what we were talking
Yes,
about,
we were
right?
also talking about
because
that.
when the news came out that former PNP chief Torre was going to be taken out of his position, one of the things that we were talking about, like what was the reason why?
Why? Yeah.
And of course, there were some people suggesting that perhaps he would be reassigned to somewhere else.
Yes, that's what you said. Also, that is a possibility that he would be reassigned. So now we're seeing this news that they are about to offer him a new position, and also former PNP Chief Nicolas Torre III was also interviewed, and he said that he did hear that he was being offered a new position, pero hihintayin niya na yung palasyo ang mag-announce, make the formal announcement. So we'll see where he's going to be assigned next.
Yes, and of course, with the press officer Claire Castro actually saying that, that's more than enough confirmation. Now, yung tanong lang ngayon, what position is it and how much power will he have? Because we all know that based on yung very recent history niya, that he doesn't mind ruffling feathers and shaking things up. So let's see where he will be assigned, because that'll be very interesting kung saan man yun. All right, so moving on, the Senate is now asking the Philippine Coast Guard how a so-called fake Filipino slipped into their auxiliary division. Now, this comes after the arrest of billionaire nickel businessman Chen Zhongzhen for the alleged falsification of his Filipino citizenship under the name Joseph C. C served as a commodore in the PCG auxiliary before being delisted. Captain Fernandez of the PCG clarifies that the auxiliary division is a volunteer group of the PCG with different ranks, uniforms, and no formal security clearance. Mostly consisting of boat and shipping owners, their main function is to assist with search and rescue operations. Now, as of now, the Coast Guard and Navy are investigating if their security and operational integrity has been compromised.
Now we've got some harrowing news abroad. 2 children were killed while 17 others wounded at a Minneapolis Catholic school. That is after a shooter dressed in black opened fire on students attending Mass on the 3rd day of school. 2 students aged 8 and 10 were pronounced dead at the scene. Officials say the assailant fired through the windows at students sitting in pews and entering the church before shooting himself. Officials identify the attacker as 23-year-old Robin Westman. The FBI is investigating the case as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime against Catholics. This is the 146th incident of school shooting in the U.S. since January this year. So our hearts, our condolences, and prayers go out to the families of the children who were killed in this yet another mass shooting in the U.S.
146
146.
Yeah, since
It's
January.
crazy. Yes, since January.
It's an insane number, and you understand why grabing debate sa states when it comes
On
to
gun
drug
control. Yeah.
when it comes to championing safety of the students. I mean, if we hear this type of news way too often, the question is, of course, it would always be the case. When will it be the tipping point in the United States when it comes to gun control regulation and even safety in schools, that things are taken to a more extreme measure
Right.
to stop the number. 146 this year.
That is
school shootings.
That is a big number. Yes, school
Yeah.
shootings in the U.S. since January of this year, and we have 2 students who were pronounced dead
And they're
in
8
this
and 10.
incident. The ages were 8 and 10. Can you imagine that? These are kids.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not a new story.
Yeah, it isn't.
It isn't a new story. So
So the question
again,
is when? When
Yeah.
are they going to implement changes, and when will it be enough?
well, right now, obviously, all we can do right now at this point, thoughts and prayers to the families affected,
Yes.
and hopefully, lahat ng mga kababayan natin there over in the States, stay safe as well, because again, 146 shootings. Like just saying that out loud,
I
I
know.
can't get over the number of school shootings this year.
And this is just school shootings, ha?
This-
Hindi pa
oo,
included yung
oo.
mga in supermarkets, because diba there were recent supermarket shootings also. So hindi pa, these are just schools. 146 school shootings.
Yeah.
So this is just really heartbreaking.
It is. It's hard to move on
I
to the
know.
next topic
The
here.
mood.
It's hard to move on to the next topic here. But we'll move on to sports, because here, no dream run in the US Open for young Alex Ayala after suffering a second-round upset against World 95 Cristina Buxa. Ayala dropped the match against her Spanish foe 6-4 and 6-3, a few days removed from her own upset win against Clara Towson. The Filipina started out brightly, leading 2-1 in the first frame to Miss Buxa for the win. Of course, Alex Ayala, commiserations to her. And I just want to remind people, as a avid follower of sports, and understanding that for all the love that Alex Ayala is getting, whenever she fails, there will be a big amount.
Talking about Filipino critics.
No, there could be Filipino, there could be foreign, and it's no surprise simply because of the fact that she is such a draw. Like, so many people are hyping her up. So many people are saying that she's the next big thing, and because she's such a marketable person.
Okay.
Na kapag natatalo siya, people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're all hype." Right afterwards, you could tell that she was devastated as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Just talking to her kasi feeling niya may chance siya.
Okay.
This year is her first breakout year. It took longer. This actually is a long time for her to actually make it. Some people are expecting her to be at this level earlier kasi nanalo siya ng US Open Juniors Championship, breaking out onto the big stage. She's handling for the very first time crowds of this size, criticism of this magnitude,
Yes.
and all of this added attention. Her game is being dissected in a way that it hasn't been. But we are far away from the finished product of an Alex Ayala. Far away.
She's still very young.
She's still very
and
young.
even before this loss, she won.
Yeah, she won. Pero syempre, people, you're only as good as your last match.
Yeah, yeah.
You're only as good as your last match. And it was disappointing for Alex Ayala to lose. Very disappointing. I was personally disappointed. But it's just a reminder na sobrang bata pa rin niya. She has a long way to go.
Yes.
She knows her problems. I'm sure she knows her problems. Right now, I think her most glaring problem, and I'm sure she would admit it, is that napakahina yung serve niya. It barely cracks 100. You're 70 or 80 kph, give or take, yung speed. And of course, it will improve. It will get better. If it won't improve
It
in terms of
will.
power, it will improve in terms of placing.
She's gonna work on her weaknesses. That's for sure.
Yes, and consistency. Kasi
Yes.
the one thing I've learned covering sports throughout the years is that as you grow older and as you learn more, you become more consistent.
Yeah.
Pag bata ka pa, the consistency, it might not be. It might be erratic. And Alex Ayala is at the very beginning of her career. And the people, as excited as we are, sobrang excited natin. Relax, kaya natin. Like, kaya ni Alex.
Alex
And
should guest on the show. Alex, if
she
you're
has great
watching, you're
coaching.
always welcome to guest on a
Oh, yeah.
beautiful day. We're
Oh,
all
yeah.
support for you here. No critics here.
Yeah, sure.
Well, maybe I guess for Paolo, but I don't know. But you're always welcome to guest here. Let's move on to some tea this morning. All right, here's our first cup of tea. Eternal Sunshine singer Ariana Grande just posted a cryptic teaser on her Instagram. The video has a futuristic theme with a computer screen saying corrupt file found and corrected, then ends saying, see you next year. Fans speculate the Wicked star is teasing her next album as the video was shared together with her Brighter Days IG account. Now, moving on to our second cup of tea. Are you ready, Army? BTS is back on the
Tide of online gambling is growing among content creators. Now, to what extent does giving online gambling a glamorous face through influencers normalize risky behavior among the youth? Now, we'll talk about it with digital content creation expert Jel Directo when Beautiful Day returns. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching Beautiful Day. Now, online gambling has been a long-standing issue in our country. Now, unfortunately, it has mostly targeted low-income groups, causing poor mental health, family conflicts, and even attempted suicides. Now, it seems that the youth are the ones most vulnerable to this social ill. Is it because they're being persuaded by trusted faces they often watch on their screens? Well, let's talk about it here on The Hangout with Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines President Jel Directo. And Beautiful Day, Jel. It's a very serious topic. But of course, we're so happy to talk about it with you. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Of course.
Sabi niya kanina, it's like going back to school daw. Napakaaga yung gising niya kanina.
Masaya
You're not
mag-drive.
used to waking up early?
Not used to. Except if may tournaments, so pag weekends, mga
Okay.
ganon.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I
thank you very much.
Yes,
for
yes.
waking
I
up
love
early
it.
today.
Walang traffic.
Actually, sa umaga. All right, so let's talk about this because it has hit the news a lot recently. Yung mga influencers that have been pushing gambling platforms and of course, influencers typically target the youth in
Yes,
general,
yes,
right? Because the platform in itself, the medium is the message na the people in social media are typically young, the message is young, and how do you feel it's different compared to, let's say, traditional ads or yung mga nasa billboard? When you have an influencer talking about something in social media, how's the impact different?
Okay, first I wanna just highlight how the marketing of gambling is very well written, no? Kasi the way that it has been presented to the youth is very normalized. So high frequency, normalized, very casual. So it doesn't highlight how, traditionally, right? Gambling, it's like very, yung casinos.
Yes.
It's spoken in a very for adult type of thing. But now with it very masked kasi sometimes gaming, diba? We had that concern that the term was initially gaming, right? So it's it's made to be very subtle. And so the entry point to the youth makes it very easy to consume and easy to be engaged with kasi it could be just gaming, a small amount, right? So the marketing here, high frequency, high volume, working with a lot of creators, normalized. And so aside from digital, also we can see, right, just driving through EDSA before it was made to put down. It's just everywhere, right? So I would say that a lot of education needs to be pushed because I would say that maybe creators who are partnered here may not understand the level of influence that they have to the youth also. Sometimes I would talk to some creators, influencers, and even brands also, the small brands also, who are still looking at the coverage of followers. So yun lang eh. Not understanding that there's a play on algorithm, there's a play on reach, and so there's a play on the compounding effect also. And then if you work with multiple creators, like 100, 500, what's the compounding effect of that? creators may not realize that. And so I think education on where your influence can go, what you say, and how it converts to awareness, engagement, and then eventually it converts the audience, right? And by the time that they convert, the first trial, the first download, the first gamble can eventually lead to high frequency of use and then eventually addiction, right? And so we need to now campaign even more to the effect of this one.
Yeah. It's scary pa, no? Kasi parang gambling, it's hidden behind that facade na gaming. So it's fun.
Yes.
Diba? There's this, it's harmless.
Yes.
Diba? So it's hidden behind that, yung gaming facade na okay lang to for kids because they're just playing. But now they're getting a lot of influencers, content creators to promote these gaming platforms. Where do we draw the line? You know, creativity versus social responsibility, and what rules have or should they follow? You know, when it comes to brand partnerships.
Right. Okay. So I would highlight responsible advertising here. When it comes to brand partnerships, I know that some creators would just highlight how this is their career, this is their business, but it also needs to be highlighted that there has to be an active assessment on who are the partners that they should be working with. And at the same time also be able to understand that sometimes the underlying message is very well kept within the marketing, right? Again, we go back to the gaming, right? And then the games that these sites would have, and then the ease of it also. And so I think it's very important that the creators are able to distinguish that.
Yeah, the interesting thing about yung creators, you mentioned it's a career for some people. I remember when the news came out about yung illegal gambling sites, and then more and more reports started coming out about certain influencers who were listed and in terms of yung following nila. But not only that, the amount that they would receive.
Right.
Sometimes talagang eye-popping.
Right.
Now, when you take a look at yung lure of all of that, what I think message mo to creators, especially for those who are being inaalok na i-promote yung gambling, not necessarily just illegal online gambling, because there's a big distinction there.
That's
Yung
true.
illegal and then yung legal. Some of them are legal gambling companies that do approach influencers still, right?
Yes.
So what would your messaging be to those content creators who probably don't realize the type of responsibility that they do have?
Well, first, again, I go back to responsible advertising.
Right.
So it's not just something that they think of, it's also something that they should say. That there has to be some responsibility involved here. Well, definitely the council does not have jurisdiction on what is legal. If the government counts it to be legal, then how can we support that is by reminding that there has to be some guidelines here. You should talk about frequency. They should talk about the danger of it also. So they should talk about these things. Like the same way that we alcohol is being promoted, also there has to be a lot of things that you say also while you mention it. So it shouldn't be masked as something that's light, but they should always highlight that there are dangers to this also. I guess that's how I would address that one.
Do you feel that legal sanctions should be imposed on content creators who promote online gambling, considering that many of their audience are young?
That's true.
Yeah.
I would say that number one should be education. Do they understand that there's this effect? Maybe they just say, now, okay, I only have 2,000 followers. What's the effect here anyway, right? So that's one. So education, number one. But at the same time, there has to be, sanctions could be split into two. There's the legal sanction, but there's also a platform sanction. So if the platform does not allow this, which some platforms would have their own guidelines, then there would be some sanctions such as demonetization or taking down of posts or like having warning to the creator. So yeah, I would say that.
Or shadow ban.
Yeah, I heard yes.
Iba yung shadow
Iba pa
ban.
yun, yes.
Speaking of platform banning, I'm sure you've heard about TikTok's move to ban gambling ads, supposedly to support the government's digital safety efforts. Do you think this is just a band-aid solution or a long-term solution?
I would say first I want to highlight that working with TikTok for a couple of years already, I know that this is part of their policies in the platform. So I think they're just pushing it more strictly because I know I see it: alcohol, gambling, political ads. But the more that they see that there has been a lot of creativity that marketers are going around through it, and even yun nga, I go back to political ads, right? It's not allowed, and then people become creative on how they talk about it, and so they're more conscious to actually spot these creative posts, content, and so the stricter guidelines are being enforced. And yes, I would say there is long-term good effect on this if the material will be controlled, and at the same time, I think it supports what the government is doing, such as to control the frequency, the volume of these ads. So we get to manage it also. Because if early stage pa lang now, we don't get to actually control the volume, the frequency, and everything else, the size of it, then it will come to a point when you cannot control it anymore.
Right.
So I really appreciate what everyone is doing right now. Even as we can see, right, the community is fighting. Let's not call it gaming, let's call it gambling. And so a lot of these like community push is contributing, and so no one wants to be left behind. And that's the reason why the council had to share our position last week, because we don't just watch things happen and okay, we want to be able to contribute also on how we could direct obviously the direction of this concern.
When you talk about the CICP's wish list when it comes to online gambling in terms of either the legislation or changes you wish to help enforce, what would that be?
Number one, support and education. Because as mentioned, I don't think everyone understands the effect of their influence. It goes beyond what you think to be your reach. The algorithm has a lot of play in it. Number two, continuous, I would say this is the time when we're going to start to actually converse on like government bodies, or at least like, I know there was a question, are we open to talk to PAGCOR? We are open, definitely, but it's more like, how do we manage this one? Because again, there's legal, there's illegal, but there's also legal.
Right.
So how do we support this area also? So it requires a lot of dialogues. You may throw 10 questions here that I may not be able to answer today because it requires discussions and dialogues. And so I want to have, the wishes is to have opportunity to actually have these conversations. And then third is to be able to have active conversations also with the platform, so we have a unified approach to address this one. So those are the three main wish lists that we have at the moment.
How is your group collaborating with government agencies, like let's say DICT, in this crackdown? And how are you encouraging creators to proactively comply to this?
Okay, first I would say that we are just starting to actually converse. I don't want to say that we're already advanced there. So because a lot of things are happening fast, right? Everything just happened fast. The takedowns, the conversations. And so this is the start of our conversations with the government bodies, the groups also, the ICT. But for the creators, I would say that having a position already encourages the direction and the guidance. So it starts from there. Other creators will have their own questions also, how about this one?
Right.
How about if I do it just once? So we get to have active participation, have active conversations regarding the issue by starting with this. And we want to continue having positions on a lot of discussions. I know every time something happens, creators, there will always be, okay, what do we have? How are creators involved here? Political, gambling, alcohol, and a lot of new issues also. I know there are a lot more that just arose. And so having guidance on these things is very important.
Have you experienced any pushback from creators that you had conversations with? Kasi syempre, when we talk about online gambling, it's actually a source of income for them in a sense that, you know, they become advertisers. Talk about the economy. Alam naman natin, the creator economy dito sa Pilipinas is not as, what's the right term for it?
Not as lucrative, I guess.
It's not as lucrative as compared to the other countries, especially just looking at TikTok, for example, in terms of monetization, wala talaga dito sa Pilipinas. And they have to go through different means to do it. I mean, have you experienced a bit of pushback when it comes to that? Because that is a big source of income that could be taken away or at least regulated to a certain extent for these creators.
And also sometimes the money that's being offered to them, it's just so
It's
hard to
eye-popping.
say no.
It's eye-popping.
Yeah.
First, I would say that it's very unfortunate that there is a specific sector that is targeted by specific groups that have not a lot of options to partner with. And so these are, papasok ko na, even political, as we know, di ba? Mga political clients also, and now gambling clients. And so they know specific groups that they could tap because money is hard to say no to.
Yeah,
And so I feel that it's unfortunate for them to be in that position. However, I have not yet encountered a pushback, but more because I would say a lot of these things are happening very quietly also. That's one. The third is, to this day, I believe that while there are creators that are named to be involved, I also saw that they have started to say no to these clients and projects also, because the conversation is very active, and we know also the community's power to cancel. And I wouldn't want that. In as much as we don't like that culture, the creators are also scared of those things. And as we know, creators are very exposed to PR, right?
Yes.
So understanding what PR means, what canceling means, and how they cannot work with other brands anymore if they continue, they're also pushed to a specific direction. And I think the battle to this concern has been, in the past 4 weeks, has been addressed very greatly and responsibly, and we want to continue the support in that direction also with the right steps.
Well, you know what? Napakabigat ng topic.
Oh,
alright?
I know.
But then, we gotta...
Actually, we still have so many questions to ask you, Jill, but
gosh.
we're running out of time.
Yes.
But before we let you go, we always ask this question to our guests. Our show is called Beautiful Day. Jill, what makes your day beautiful?
Okay, with a prayer, starting with a prayer and stretching.
Stretching.
Matanda na tayo.
That's the perfect way to end it kasi ang bigat ng topic. Buti lang we ended it with stretching. So, yoga lang ng konti sa umaga.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, CICP President Jel Directo. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Maraming salamat. Thank you.
All right, so up next, we have the global news plus our horoscope of the day with Master Hans Kua.
And an initiative aims to bring back the art of reading. Find out the story of Book Nook through its pioneer, Shereen Sy. That conversation and more after the break. Beautiful Day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Let's take a look at the global weather. Let's start off first in Thailand. Typhoon Kajiki triggered a deadly landslide in Chiang Mai. The Ministry of Public Health confirmed 2 dead, 13 injured, and 5 still missing after mud and debris swept through Ban Apong village on Wednesday. Homes in the mountainous area are completely buried. Heavy rains have also sparked floods and landslides in 8 provinces, affecting more than 180 households. Rescue teams remain on site as authorities warn of more rain. Moving on to India, heavy monsoon rains continue to wreak havoc across northern India, triggering deadly floods and landslides. On Wednesday, a building in Madhopur, Punjab, partially collapsed, according to a video released by the Indian Army. Across the Himalayas, at least 36 people have died in the past 24 hours. In the deadliest incident, a landslide killed 33 people near the Hindu shrine of Vaishno Devi in Jammu and Kashmir. Landslides and floods have killed over 30 in Kashmir, with schools closed and rivers overflowing into low-lying areas. Heavy rains also forced India to open dams, triggering flood alerts in neighboring Pakistan. Speaking of Pakistan, Pakistan is facing severe flooding as monsoon rains and water released from India's dams swell major rivers. Officials warn Punjab province, the country's breadbasket, is at exceptionally high risk. Over 167,000 people have been displaced, with army troops leading rescue operations. The National Disaster Management Authority says more than 210,000 have been saved so far. Since June, floods have killed over 800 people in Pakistan, half of them this month. That's it for Weather HQ at the moment. Back to you, Ann.
Thank you, Pao. Now it's time for us to find out what the stars have in store for us today. Let's hear it from our resident energizer and feng shui master, Hans Kua, in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
Good morning! Beautiful day with me, Bilyonaryo Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope ngayong araw ng Thursday, August 28. Simulan natin sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat. Guard your words, tahimik ang mas ligtas ngayon. Yellow at 3. Kay Ox naman tayo, huwag isama ang lucky coin sa normal na pambayad. Red at 6. Punta naman tayo kay Year of the Tiger. Huwag hayaang gamitin excuse ang ghost month para bumalik siya sa buhay mo. Self-worth over ending. Blue at 4. Rabbit naman tayo, kumain ng saging at putas tuwing umaga. Pink at 7. Kay Dragon, share your blessing pero don't brag about it. Violet at 1. Kay Snake naman tayo, kung kaya mong magmahal ng tahimik, kaya mo ring bumitaw ng marangal. Nax. White at 9. Ito naman, care of the horse. Iwas, ipabasa ang stress sa iba. Gawin ang trabaho ng may puso. Green at 2. Sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Sheep naman tayo, iwas group work. Mas okay ang solo na trabaho. Tan at 8. Sa mga Year of the Monkey naman tayo, kung ang lambing niya ay para lang sa gabi, hindi yan tunay. Green at 6. Kay Year of the Rooster naman tayo, kumain ng sabaw at mag-meditate bago matulog. Blue at 4. Kay Dog naman tayo, huwag itabi ang wallet malapit sa pinto. Energy lost yan. Gold at 5. Kay Year of the Pig naman tayo, iwasan ang e-wallet shopping ngayong linggo. Silver at 7. Paalala lang, ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan araw-araw ang horoscope of day dito lang po sa Beautiful Day with me, Master Hans Kua.
Thank you as always, Master Hans Kua. We love your energy every day. Pao, before we move on, let's say hi to a couple of people who are watching us on Facebook. We have Angelo Redaja says, Throwback Thursday morning ka BNC. Nicolas Gordo says, Gandang morning from Baguio City. Beautiful day brings sunshine on a cold, foggy day. Oh, yan, cold, foggy day there though in Baguio. So thank you so much for watching. John Victor is saying good morning, watching on YouTube as well and on Blast TV and earlier on Mellow 94.7 BFM. Thank you so much, John Victor. You're everywhere. And to Ram Cruzeto, I hope I got that right, Cruzeto, saying hello and good morning as well. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Again, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. You still have time to send us those messages and shout outs and your questions for our guest for today or love hacks later on in the show. Now, a community library and learning hub is on a mission to bring reading closer to the youth. From holding book donation drives to reading events, Book Nook highlights the importance of third spaces in driving this cause. Book Nook pioneer Architect Shereen Sy joins us to tell that story in The Hangout. Beautiful day, Architect Shereen. That's what we call you, Architect Shereen.
Call me Shereen.
Just
Yes.
Shereen.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today, for waking
Yes.
up early
Good
to
morning.
be with us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I love your voices. So lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so
We
much.
love you being here.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's good.
So tell us, Shereen, what is Book Nook all about?
Book Nook is a place for the community, a free library where people come together to read, to swap books, to create, to learn.
And you know, when we talk about Book Nook, obviously you mentioned create, to learn, to exchange books. just how important is it to actually push reading, especially now in the digital age? It feels like we don't really hold books as much
Like actual
anymore.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am from the analog era.
Yeah.
So I personally grew up touching. As for me, the tactility is part, the
Yes.
smell of it, right?
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
sensorial. So I feel, being a mother as well, it's been a very natural journey to come from the era of gadgets, to provide that option for children. I think it's about working with, not fighting with. So
Yeah.
it's about working with and providing them joyful options of connection. Actually, the discovery of reading through my children came from me reading with them. So that connection of reading to them as little babies, them choosing their own books, and then me finding ways in, because each child was different. One child preferred me being very animated. The other one preferred visual comics. So once I found that little secret, recipe with my child, I discovered, okay, that's his way in, that's my daughter's way in. So that beauty of that, I feel, is important as a parent of this age.
You've described reading with your kids as a nightly ritual of silliness and connection. Did this inspire you to recreate this kind of warmth and connection for other people as well through
would
Book
say
Nook?
You've got it spot on there, and I think it's very much about warmth, connection, and care. So I start with warmth. Warmth is something a child feels just naturally, and something felt through presence. So I've been very lucky. I've been able to spend my evenings with my children, putting them to bed. That is a luxury, actually, right now. So being able to do that was warm for me. And then plus the connection. So this sense of freedom and choice. My children like discovering now because they were given the choice to discover, the opportunity to. And this sense of care came from me feeling that books are actually they're not luxury, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're expensive,
They can be,
yes.
yeah.
And they can be. So providing that accessibility and sharing that was the care I felt that was necessary based on my travels and just looking at the environment and accessibility for children in general.
Well, where did the idea of opening Book Nook come from?
So I studied in Australia. I did architecture there. And I love how organic things are there. You have lunches in the picnic in the parks. You would walk through the mall. And this was a day where I just saw a corner in the mall, unused, and someone had decided to put shelves there, unmanned, very simple, community-driven, community initiative. So I felt that was a great way of bringing to life the values of what makes a community, which is really integrity with each other, right? Caring for each other, sharing. It's a very innate opportunities for people to do that. So that's how it started.
So Book Nook is kind of like a library
Yeah,
in a
community-
mall.
community library.
Right? So people go there, they leave notes inside books, they
Yes.
recommend titles, they even bring books to swap.
Yes.
You can do that there,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And even donate books
You can donate books
as well.
yes,
Is
yes.
there like a heartwarming thing that you've witnessed someone do at Book Nook?
Honestly, it's been a 5-year journey. So the heartwarming things span from the team being here present today, supporting me. It's minute moments of connection.
Yeah.
Like a child running to me, giving me a hug.
Yes.
Or when you have a
Or
book
maybe like
launch.
seeing families there.
Seeing families
Yeah,
there when they have
yeah.
art exhibitions for the children.
Yeah.
And the children come and they speak up and they introduce their work. The titos and the lolas, their parents are there,
Yeah.
they're proud. Those are the special moments of connection when I see that yearn for community spirit. Yes.
What type of events do we normally have in Book Nook? You mentioned some of the art that you had.
Yeah, we have really fun events, and I like to say it's very organic. So it's really unique to where it's located, and I love that about it. Being an architect, it's all about being in tune with the land,
Yeah.
being in tune where it's located. So being in tune with the community, and the unique part about Book Nook is not only is it about architecture, it's also about the community that adopt ninong, you know, they adopt the book Nook. So the activities range from what the community is interested in. We usually have book launches, book readings. We have a lot of how-tos. We have how to ride Bayan by Howie Cerverino. That was a fantastic event. There was also how to ride a bike safely, bike safety, care of SM Cares. That was fantastic. As well as so many. We have how to craft, how to make a bag tag, how to make decoy, you know, care of the malls. You know, this is things that we kind of engage with the mall as well. What are you interested in? Having that conversation. How to publish your first book. How do you can't chat GPT that, you know? You can, but yet at the same time, the life experiences of someone. How to draw comics from Quentoon. That was so enjoyable because my dad's an artist and educator as well. So this storytelling through life experiences is priceless. Something you can't Google. So for me, that really is the beauty of this community library.
And your community is growing. Book Nook is growing from SM Aura. You started in SM Aura.
Yes.
What year was that again? I asked you.
Well, we were chatting under the escalator 2019, and then pandemic hit us in 2020. And I think through the year we decided, is this the right time? You know, we're really just focusing on vaccinating everyone or having access. Is this the right time for a library? And we had a lot of reflection points, as well as I have to give thanks to my family who supported me. My father-in-law, I asked him, is it possible to do this? And the support has been tremendous. And the pandemic showed, personally me, the importance of coming together and connecting human to human, not screen to screen. It's a very different, visceral experience.
Yeah, it's so different. Like to the point that I remember there was a generation of children who were more used to communicating via screen, and then as soon as they go face to face with someone, it's a bit difficult for them, right?
There's an adjustment period there.
Yes.
I mean, but with Book Nook, obviously the community has grown. You've had all these fantastic events. Book Nook is now in more than just one SM and in different places right now. Did you ever envision or imagine that it would grow the way it has in the past few years?
I am Singaporean, so having lived in different countries, I witnessed the strength and the community spirit innate in a Filipino, in an individual. It's very giving, very warm, very compassionate, and very willing to share and support each other. So I had no doubt in my mind that the spirit is strong here. 100%. I think it was just providing avenues of connection, avenues of opportunity, and really standing up and saying, this is possible. Let's focus on the positives. Let's not focus on what isn't there. Let's focus on what can be done. And with the beauty of SM, it's that there are lots of dots, and we simply just connected the dots.
You know, part of this reading community, of course, are the local authors. Filipino, we have excellent Filipino authors, Filipino book illustrators. How does Book Nook support our local authors?
Yeah, that's a very important. Coming from a very simple family background, family of educators, I feel it's important to provide a free platform for independents to come and establish their skills and share their skills. So it was very innate and very aligned with SM Cares, who is the Ninong and Ninang of Book Nook, and they're here present today in the studio. So having Bookshelf PH, we have as well Anvil and
so other
publishing companies,
other publishers as well. But Shereen, for those wondering, where can they find Book Nook in general? How could they experience this type of community and, of course, access all these books?
Right now, we're located in North EDSA and as well as Podium. And we are recreating the Aura library, and we have a few surprises coming up in the coming year. So please...
Yeah, so we have your team there joining us.
Yes.
We just put them on screen. I don't think ready sila. Pero They're there, very
guys.
supportive. Okay.
Shereen, we're running out of time, but before we let you go, this show is called Beautiful Day. What makes your day beautiful?
Oh, a hug from my children.
Oh.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So.
I also wanted to ask, like, what's your favorite book to read with them, or what stuck
Oh,
out?
so many. But Mo Williams is the one that got my son to read. So Mo Williams is hilarious. I love Bluey as well. Very witty and humorous, but also about life.
Yeah.
You know, very about friendships, how precious it is to treasure your friendships and how it can be hard, but it's important.
Your kids are so
Yeah.
lucky to have a mom like you. Thank you
Oh,
so much,
thank
Shereen,
you,
for
thank
joining
you.
us today. Shereen Sy, Architect Shereen Sy, ladies and gentlemen, from Book Nook. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so
Lovely.
much.
Thank you so much.
Now, if you have ever dated down for any reason, the internet has a word for that, right, Paolo? It's called Shrek. It may be a new slang, but settling for less is a tale as old as time. Now we ask why and what are its dangers? Dating coach V tells us on Love Hacks after the break, so don't miss our conversation. Beautiful day, we'll be right back. Hi there, welcome back. You're still watching Beautiful Day. The internet coined another dating slang called shrekking, which means to date down to avoid rejection and heartbreak. What does the beloved ogre from far, far away have to do with dating at all? We unpack this on Love Hacks.
Love hacks, we got you. No need to be sad.
And we got our resident love guru, Coach V, joining us today. Hello, Coach V.
Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Pal.
Good morning.
Beautiful day.
Alam mo, padami na yung mga terms, ha? They're coming up with so many terms. It's hard to, to keep track, di ba? May situationship, ghosting, and now we have shrekking. Nadamay pa si Shrek.
Yes.
Can you define shrekking for us, Coach V?
So this term is inspired by the famous character Shrek. And when you look at the character, he is not conventionally attractive, right? And so I love this generation because it had the Gen Z have labeled happenings in our dating and relationship world that have been existing in the past pero wala talaga tayong term. And now, shrekking means when a person's tendency is to end up with somebody who is way lower than their attractiveness level, thinking that they are a safe bet. Like a Shrek is a safe bet. Because the tendency is, oy, hindi niya ako lolokohin. Hindi niya ako ipagpapalit kasi I'm way more attractive than them. That's the assumption.
Parang yung kanta nga ni Andrew E., di ba? Humanap ka ng pangit at ibigin mong tunay.
What? But you know what?
Tama naman ako. Okay.
So, totoo yan dati. Ngayon, magugulat ka. Yung mga not so conventionally attractive.
Teka lang, Coach V, sandali lang. Hindi makarelate si Paolo kasi pogi siya.
Pogi siya.
Hindi raw makarelate ang pogi. Sorry, I had to say that before I forget. Yeah, this is a topic that's not for Paolo.
Correct.
Kasi pogi eh.
Pero kasi si Paolo, of course, Paolo is in a very stable relationship right now. But in another lifetime, no, he can be shrekking in another lifetime. Kasi shrekking means you go for somebody who is like lower than your attractiveness. Pero the girlfriend of Pao kasi similar attractiveness.
Yes, similar.
So what I wanted to say, Anna, a while ago is the assumption is I'm gonna go for a Shrek so I don't get cheated. But yung kanta ni Andrew na humanap ka ng pangit at ibigin mong tunay, tapos hindi ka lolokohin, hindi na yan applicable right now. Because sometimes, even the less attractive counterpart, yun pa ang maraming chicks. Yun pa ang maraming boys.
See, this is my reaction kasi I actually have a friend who, oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
I don't think she's Shrek. She just really fell in love with this guy.
Okay.
And then we were like, but you're so pretty. She's gorgeous. And then the partner whom she married and then found out na maraming others,
Diba?
parang nag-level down talaga siya in terms of
Baka
looks.
funny.
And it's a double whammy kasi alam mong nag-date down ka na. Kumbaga, I let go of a more attractive counterpart for you. Tapos lolokohin mo lang din pala ko. So it's not really a guarantee that if you go shrekking, that you will not be cheated.
Kailan ba nagsimula itong shrekking na ito?
Simula si Shrek. Pero parang bago yung term. Bago yung term.
Yeah.
Bago yung term, but this has been going on. Individuals going for their less attractive counterpart has been going on because it is a protective mechanism. Thinking that if I go for somebody who is deemed to be less desirable than I am, then I am in a safer place because they're less likely to replace me with a competition. That was the case before.
Is this a toxic mindset?
That's a very good question. It is, and you know why? Because you are operating through fear and not love. Pumipili ka because of your insecurities and not because gusto mo talaga yung tao.
This reminds me of another term, pero I don't know. I think there's certain similarities. Settling versus shrekking. Settling versus shrekking. May pagkakaiba ba?
Yes. So when you think about shrekking, it is basically settling, but there's a difference.
Okay.
Settling is going for somebody who is good enough for you. Shrekking is going for somebody that you know is way below your league, thinking that they are a safer bet.
Isn't this an
Mas
arrogant?
intentional.
Isn't this an arrogant way of thinking? Isn't this an arrogant mentality na parang ang ganda ko.
Paano kung feeling mo lang
Siya-
maganda ka,
diba?
parang pangit mo pala?
So, isn't it, di ba, like a sign of arrogance somewhere? There's arrogance somewhere there.
Correct. It's very possible for somebody who had Shrek to think that they are more dominant than their partner. Kasi alam nila, feel nila na that person is way less in terms of value. So that what makes the relationship dangerous kapag alam mong nag-Shrek ka. Because you have this parang more dominant mentality na pasalamat ka nga, pinili kita eh. That's very toxic.
So may ganong factor yung relationship niyo eh, di ba? Na parang under ka sa akin kasi mas maganda ako sa'yo and
Mas
my value is
valuable.
higher, di ba? So I don't think that will really make the relationship work.
Correct.
From the very beginning, if you have that kind of mentality.
It seems like utang na loob pa
Oo.
ni Shrek na pinili mo siya.
Oo.
Ayun.
Parang walang respeto. There's no mutual respect right there.
Absolutely.
Diba? So those are one of the dangers of shrekking.
Yes. And when it comes to relationship, for a relationship to go farther, to last longer, there has to be a mutual interest and mutual attraction. So what suffers when you end up with a partner who is way less attractive than you and you don't feel that genuine attraction? So genuine attraction fuels sexual chemistry. And so when you are already married and you don't have that sexual chemistry together, it can only go too far.
Yeah.
So far,
Yeah.
no? So sooner or later, one of you will end up having a resentment. Now, you know, I chose you, but then eventually they realize that, oh, there's somebody who's better pala. I could have went for somebody better. So you always have a lot of what ifs, and that will that will make your partner feel very insecure in a
So
relationship.
in other words, medyo short-sighted yung shrekking.
Yes. And some go for shrekking as an experiment. Oh, let me try if I'm gonna go for a less attractive individual kung mas mamahalin nila ako. And then they find out, kahit pala less attractive,
Hindi pala.
nanloloko pa din.
So it really isn't a guarantee. The
Absolutely.
looks.
It is not a guarantee that if you go shrekking that you will have a loyal individual. So you might as well look for somebody's
Naka-level mo,
ka-level mo and who has a good character. It doesn't matter kung anong attractiveness level nila.
Okay.
Look at the character, more than picking somebody who you think, is way lower than you in terms of league, thinking that, they're gonna keep it as an utang na loob that you chose them, because they never do.
It's so funny kasi as much as we're telling people right now, oy, don't punch down intentionally. I would still encourage people to punch up. Does that make sense?
Say it up, yes.
Don't punch down intentionally. Just you're thinking that it'll be better for you. Oo. Pero I would still
Parang
encourage people.
shoot for the stars.
Oo, pero I would still encourage people to go, shoot up, right? To punch up.
Yeah.
Malay mo, right?
Oo.
Na funny ka pala.
Aside from yung parang arrogance mentality dyan kasi syempre, yun nga, like what we talked about earlier, na feeling mo kasi, superior over your partner, diba? So that's one factor that will not really make the relationship work in the long run. Another danger here is yung insecurity ng person.
Yes.
Kasi 'di ba, they choose to level down just to make them feel secure.
Yes.
'Di ba? So ang lakas ng insecurity nung tao na yon. So that will also not make the relationship work in the long run.
Yes.
So what's your advice to people who feel that they need to do this, they need to Shrek just to feel secure about themselves?
Yeah. So, Anne, I was once told by my mentor that you could only operate your life in one way. Either you operate through fear or you operate through love. And one of the ways to have a strong long-term relationship is to pick somebody out of love, because you have that genuine admiration towards that person. Not because I am scared to be alone, I'm scared to be cheated again, I'm scared to be left again, so I'm gonna go for somebody who I think has lesser value than I am. So when you're operating through fear, that's when you will experience a short-term or a not very healthy relationship. Because by the end of the day, people will try to go for people who matches their value. And so kapag the difference of your value is very different, your partner will feel insecure in the relationship and you will always feel that you can do better. So relationship dissatisfaction ang mangyayari.
So what do you do if you are the person being Shrek? Like you're what
Ikaw si
Or
mindset
how
do
can you tell that you're being Shrek? Paano pag na-in-love talaga sa'yo?
No,
That's
I mean,
very
like, yeah.
possible.
Diba?
Oo.
Especially for women, we tend to date down. We don't necessarily look for an attractive guy, because there's something more important to us than attractiveness sa lalaki. We need a man who's more stable, diba? Emotionally, financially, someone who can lead. But for men, they really tend to date up. They really court somebody who is more attractive. Than
Kasi they're driven by yung
physical connection,
Physical.
visual.
ambition, sandali.
Ambition.
Yung physical
Mga
talaga.
ambisyoso.
Ambitious. Totoo.
Yeah, parang yung eyes nyo ang unang nag-ano talaga.
And kailangan nila yon para ma-motivate sila to get to know the person. They need that physical chemistry first.
Right.
Unlike women, we need the emotional chemistry first.
The emotional connection
Yes,
diba?
before we open
So that's
up
why it's
physically.
very important that the guy can make us laugh.
Yes.
Diba? Yung mga ganong factor. No, it's true.
No, yeah, I agree.
Kasi kung ang gwapo nga, tapos wala tayong
May
mapag-usapan.
personality. Kailangan may
Nothing.
personality.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
but again, I go back to yung question ko. What if feeling mo
You're being
are
Shrek'd.
being the Shrek in the situation? Like
So-
someone is dating down to you. Diba? I mean, like, what do you say? I mean, like, do you just enjoy the ride? Aba, ang ganda ng kasama ko. Or, right? Or do you feel like, am I being,
nga,
like,
what do they do?
what do you do?
Siguro kung ikaw si Shrek, iisipin mo, finally, tumama na din yung sinasabi ni Master Hans na, it's my lucky day. Alright.
Gusto yung collab na yan,
But if you are realistic when it comes to relationship, you'll know, because you will always feel as if that person can do better. Makikita mo naman sa mata pa lang ng tao kung talagang mahal ka, or
Oo, true.
they're only just here because of your company. No?
Yeah.
So whether you are less conventionally attractive, you still deserve true love.
That's true.
So look at your partner's intention and have that talk with them. Like, do you really like me, or do you just want to feel safe? Is my presence making you feel safe? Ako ba talaga yung gusto mo?
Ang hirap.
Because you can do better.
ang hirap yung conversation na yun, no? Kasi you have to admit first your insecurity mo.
Yes, self-awareness.
You have to admit first na ikaw si Shrek.
Oh, you have to admit first na...
Tapos, sasabihin mo kay Fiona, do you really love me?
Oo.
For who?
Or are you just here for my body?
Ay, in fairness,
Pero, I was gonna say something, I forgot.
Oo nga eh.
Sorry,
Umirit ka pa kasi eh.
Hindi. Kasi kung feel mo na you're being Shrek, that's the time when you feel na parang your partner looks down on you talaga.
Oo, lalo na kapag
But when you feel like,
kino-compare
shit,
ka.
mahal niya ako talaga eh, di ba? So,
then it's your lucky day.
Oh, then it really is your lucky day. Bilan mo na siya ng helmet.
Yes, bumawi ka. And you know what? Let's talk about Shrek for a little bit. Shrek may not be conventionally attractive, pero ang dami niyang redeeming factors. Mabait.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Entertaining, I love that.
Entertaining is part of it.
Yes, and many other so
Yeah.
you could be the Shrek in the relationship, but if you have a high self-esteem, you may think that maybe I'm not as attractive as my partner, but my qualities is way more valuable in the
I
relationship.
think people also forget what the story of Shrek is, the original one.
Anong story?
People forget that Fiona was also an ogre,
Yeah, Fiona's an ogre as well.
right? So they're the same.
I think,
People forget that Shrek and Fiona
Are both
are
ogres.
meant to be because they're the same and they found each other beautiful.
yeah.
Okay?
Parang kahit naman anong ganda mo or anong gwapo mo, you have a Shrek side in you. You still
Yes.
have that side
That
na
side.
insecure or, di ba?
Diba sabi nga in that theme song ng Shrek, diba? And I saw her face. I'm a
know.
believer. Ganun lang.
and it's good to remember that attractiveness is not just physical.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's so many about our personality that increases, that could pull our attractiveness or could bring it down, no? Especially for men, ang laking factor ng personality nyo. Hindi lang attractiveness talaga ang nakaka-pull. So imagine a less attractive individual pero gentleman, pero may provider mindset, tapos responsible. A lot of women will pick that man more than a boy next door,
Yeah.
cutesy guy.
I agree with you on that.
Who will
Yeah.
just sit pretty and
Yeah.
watch women carry heavy bags. So learn what really matters when it comes to your partner and what really matters in the dating arena.
That's so fun. I mean, like, again, in a world full of Shreking, be a dragon and a donkey.
Maybe that's gonna be our next topic, no? The relationship between the dragon and the donkey. Because they're two totally different
Different,
species.
Yung
diba?
sobrang in
Yeah.
love. Oo.
Oo.
In love.
Kasi magkaiba talaga yun eh.
Yeah. I mean, like, seriously.
Yeah.
That-
Kasi
like,
si Fiona and Shrek, they're both ogres.
Similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are similarities. But the donkey and the dragon...
Opposites attract naman yun,
Oo,
kaya on
opposites
fire
attract
sila.
Talaga. Yeah.
literal, on fire, dragon.
Pero I like yung what your mentor told you. I think that would be like the best advice to leave to our viewers is you just really act out of love instead of fear.
Yes.
Diba?
I
So
guess
you
that,
date
yeah.
because of love. You're really attracted to this person, no matter how he or she looks like.
Absolutely.
You love that person.
Correct.
You choose to be with them.
And please, guys, watch Shrek. Yung plot nun, ibang-iba sa Shreking ata.
Watch Shrek the musical.
The musical also, yeah. Well, we gotta have them over. But yes, anyway, Coach V, maraming salamat.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so much. We really appreciate you. And of course, keeping us updated on this newfangled terms like Shreking.
Tatanungin ko sana si Coach V, did you ever Shrek in your life? Have you ever Shreked?
Actually, that was one of the biggest mistakes in my life. Shreking, thinking that they will be loyal. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, kahit Shrek yan,
Oh,
may
it's not a
tendency pa din
guarantee.
yan.
Ikaw, Ann?
Kaya go for what you want na lang.
Ikaw, Ann.
I don't know. I don't know.
Medyo tricky waters to for Ann.
And that's a wrap on our show this Thursday, August 28th. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Paolo de Rosario. Remember, keep it cool, take it easy.
And I'm Ann Asis-Carilo. Have a great day ahead and always remember to choose joy and spread kindness wherever this day takes you. See you again tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
Beautiful day!